There were many great personalities. Whenever Mahadeva dances, he shows his cosmic dance. Everybody is curious to have, participate in that dance. Brahma, he actually does the Nadaswaram. And then Vishnu beats the drums. It is also told in the Shivananda Lagari. Vishnu beats the drums when Mahadeva dances. Vishnu comes as a Shiva Gana and starts beating the drums. Lakshmi also participates. And then all the rishis like Vyasa Maharshi, Vyagrapada Maharshi, Suta Maharshi, Shukadeva Maharshi, and then Upamanyu Maharshi, everybody participates in and then they have the divine vision of Chidambara Nataraja, and then they attain Mukti. And then, we have also like Parashara Maharshi in the Agnishwara temple, which is present in Kanjanur. That's where Haradatta Shivacharya was born. And there, Parashara Maharshi is said to have seen the Mukti Tandavam, the Tandavam that gives you liberation. He is said to have seen that Mukti Tandavam there in Kanjanur. And coming to two important personalities, Manikya Vasagar and Nandanar. Very important personalities within the Tamil Shaivite tradition, also in the the Shrauta Shaiva and the Veera Shaiva tradition. Now, how they melted in devotion. Manikya Vasagar compiled something called Tiruvachakam, which was actually as Manikya Vasagar dictated, Mahadeva came and then he wrote the entire Tiruvachakam. How we can believe this is that because after writing the entire Tiruvachakam, Mahadeva signed it by saying Tiruchatrambalamudayan Kayelithu, which means this is the signature of the personality who owns Chidambaram. Tiruchitrambalamudaiyan. The personality who owns Chidambaram is Mahadeva, Samba Shiva. So that person has signed this and then he disappears. And then there is a beautiful saying also in Tamil. The English meaning goes like, if someone doesn't melt by reading Tiruvachakam, then he will never melt in devotion, reading anything else, because that much you will melt in devotion by reading Tiruvachakam. So Manikya Vasagar wrote it melting in devotion. Thinking of Lord Shiva. And then Nandanar, who was considered as an outcast. You just see the story of Nandanar, it's so very interesting. He was reporting to his master, who was a Brahmana. That Brahmana was always arrogant, thinking of Nandanar as a low person because he was a Shudra. And Nandanar, when he requested once to his Brahmana that I want to, I have one wish, oh my dear master, I want to go and just go to Chidambaram and see that Natanam, see the divine dance of Mahadeva, and then I'll come back and then I'll be at your feet and keep serving you forever. He just had that intense desire of seeing the divine dance of Nataraja, and then at that time the Brahmana will make fun of Nandanar. A Shudra cannot have the vision of Nataraja. You cannot even enter the temple. Ha ha ha, he will make fun of Nandanar. And then Nandanar will prove his devotion to that Brahmana, and then it will end up like the Brahmana will end up falling at the feet of Nandanar and then praising his devotion to be greater than him towards Lord Shiva. And then he will let Nandanar go to Chidambaram. And there also he will have problem, Nandanar. So just, on the day of arrival, Nandanar will reach Chidambaram. In that day, on that day morning, Mahadeva will come in the dream of all the Chidambara Nataraja Dikshitars. All the Dikshitars, they only manage the temple. And he will come and then he will say, my Bhakta Nandanar is waiting outside the temple. So please let him in. And then, they will go and then they will see Nandanar. And then some of the Dikshitars will be quite hesitant. Because in those days and all, the outcast people will not be allowed to enter. But Nandanar proved his devotion, that his devotion is the greatest of all. And then some of the Dikshitars were quite hesitant to, give him, allow him to enter the temple. And then they will prepare an Agni, a Homakuntam, and they will ask, Nandanar, you will have to jump into this fire sacrifice and prove your devotion. If nothing happens to you, then you can enter the temple. And then Nandanar would reply that Ananda Murti himself will help me He is eternally with me. He is present in my heart and he will definitely help me. He is Sarvavyapi. And then Nandanar, with complete confidence, praying intensely on Nataraja, he will jump into the fire sacrifice, and to everyone's surprise, he will appear in a divine form. The fire will disappear, the Homogundam will disappear, and then he will appear in a divine form with Tripundra on his forehead, ashes all over his body, and then with a Yajnopavita, and then with a Rudraksha Mala, he will showcase himself as a Shiva Bhakta. And then Nandanar would say that everything happens by the grace of Lord Shiva. That's what he says to the Chidambara Dikshitars. And then Nandanar would be allowed to enter, and then he sings a divine song. And with that, he just focuses himself on the divine dance of Nataraja. And then he goes back to Parakailasha. Mahadeva takes him back, takes his soul back to Parakailasha. So these are the two instances that talks about the Chidambara Nataraja. Always the festival is celebrated, in a very big way. And also Nataraja is taken out of the temple, is taken out of the Mula, wherever the place, he is that, it's like, it's not fixed. The Vigraham is not fixed actually. So you can lift it, you can lift the Vigraham. So he will, the Moolavar, the main person who is the main deity, who is inside the Garbhasthalam, he is taken out, and then people lift him, people can touch Chidambara Nataraja and also dance with him. They make the Nataraja, the Dikshitars make him dance actually. But they are careful, So the dance also, the videos are also there, available in YouTube. One can check it out. So there is actually, at one time he comes out, Mahadeva is taken out, and then he dances, and all the devotees also dance along with him. It is said like even the Devatas, Brahma and Vishnu come there to celebrate the Chidambara Nataraja Natanam. Very beautiful. And then, Arudra. The significance of Arudra is actually that Arudra also means the golden red flame. Asavyastamro Aruna Uta Babrussu Mangalaha. Aruna means that, that sun. The sun is usually like a camphor, white and also red, that red color. You'll see that reddish flame, within the sun. So, and also golden red flame. Golden is actually, as we have seen many times, is the complexion of Mahadeva. Hiranyamaya Purushaha. Hiranyabhagave, Hiranyavarnaya, Hiranyarupaya, Hiranyapatayem, Bikapatayam, Umapataye, Pashupataye, Namo Namaha. Many places. Hiranmayena Patrena, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and Ishavasya Upanishad too. So the golden, within the golden red flame, one should meditate on the divine form of Chidambara Nataraja. The flame, the Jyoti, represents his infiniteness. And that's where, there are many places in the Shastras where his infiniteness is first explained, and then it goes on to talk about meditating on that form of Nataraja. He's not just Jyoti, right? He has a divine spiritual form. He is Saguna Brahman. His form is beautifully glorified in the Vedas. So his infiniteness is explained, and then it goes on to talk about how that person behind, who is behind that infiniteness, who is actually that Karanam of the Jyoti, who is that person who is infinite. And that's where we have examples. Kaivalya Upanishad, it starts off by saying, Hritpundarikam Virajam Vishuddham Vichintya Madhye Vishatam Vishokam Achintyam Avyaktam Anantarupam Shivam Prashantam Amritam Brahma Yonim Tam Adi Madhya Anta Vihinamekam Vibhum Chidanandarupam Arupam Adbhutam. Now looking at this verse externally, one will think, oh, okay, the Supreme Reality is formless. Vibhum, Arupam, Avyaktam, Anantam. Okay, he is formless. That's what. But who is that personality who is infinite? And then the next verse replies, Uma Sahayam Parameshwaram Prabham Trilochanam Neelakantam Prashantam Gyatva Munurgachati Bhutayonim Samasta Sakshim Tamasak Parastat. The personality who is with Uma, Mata Parashakti. Parameshwara, who is the ultimate Ishvara. Paratpara Parameshwara Parvati Pate Hara Pashupate. Papanasham Shivan writes. Ishvara Paratparam he is. Prabhum, he is the Lord of the entire universe, including Brahma and Vishnu. Trilochanam, he is three-eyed. See, the divine form is described. If you say just formless, nameless, attributeless, it doesn't make sense because the Vedas itself contain the divine form of Lord Shiva. He is Saguna Brahmam. No? Satyah, Nitya Nahi. So, this Trilochanam, three-eyed, Neelakantam, he is blue-throated. He is blue-throated. Neelakantam Prashantam, he is all peaceful. He is peace personified. He is the giver of ultimate peace. Dhyatva, one who meditates on this personality. Dhyatva means meditating on this divine features of Mahadeva within that divine Jyoti. Munirgacchati bhutayonim samastha saksham tamasak parastat. Who is the karanam of all the bhutayonim. Bhuta means the living entities. Yonim, who is the cause of all the living entities. Aditya varnam tamasak parastat. You go beyond tamas and you attain the liberation. Basically going back to Mahadeva eternally. And like this, there are many other references also. Like even the Mahanarayana Upanishad, in the Narayana Suktam, it talks about Narayana meditating. Narayana as the meditator. We have seen that. I've also released a video. One can check it out. We can also take a deep dive into this interesting section within the Mahanarayana Upanishad. It talks about Narayana as the meditator. And then within the Hridaya, how is he? Within the Hridaya of all the Devatas and also within the Hridaya of all the living entities, how is Mahadeva described? Padmakosha pratikashakam hridayam chapyudomukam adonishtyavidasyante nabhyamavartishtati jwalamala kulambati vishwasyayatanam mahat. Jwalamala, he is Jwalagni. Infinite Jyoti, infinite effulgence. It explains. And then it goes on to talk about his, how is he described. His infiniteness is first explained and then it describes the form as it goes on. Neelato yata madhyastad vidyullekeva bhasvara nivara shokavattandi pitaba asmatyanupama. Mata Parashakti and Paramashiva are described as, when you see the lightning in the midst of the blue clouds, that blue clouds is actually Mata Parashakti. She is dark in complexion and Paramashiva is white in complexion or golden in complexion. The white lightning that comes in the midst of the blue clouds is Paramashiva. And then Vidyulleke Babasvara, another point to be noted, Vidyu. Vidyu means lightning. Note the point. And this comes in Rudram. Meghyaya cha vidyutyaya cha nama idriyaya cha atapyaya cha namo vatyaya cha reshmiyaya cha namo vastavyaya cha vastupaya cha Meghyaya cha vidyutyaya cha. Vidyut is the name of Lord Shiva. 7th Anuvakam of Rudram says, and that's what is told in the Narayana Suktam as Neelato yata madhyastat vidyullekeva bhasvara. And then it goes on to describe his form. How does the Paramatma look like? Hridagam satyam param brahma purusham krishna pingalam urdvaretam virupaksham vishwarupam namamyaham. Now as told, the same features, three-eyed, Ardhanari form. He is Purusha, Veda Purusha, Purusho by Rudraha. He is Virupaksha, three-eyed, Vishwarupi. He is all pervasive. And that is that Mahadeva should be meditated in the middle of that Jyoti. See how the infiniteness is explained first, and then the personality who is who is behind, the personality who is actually infinite. Right? We cannot claim we are infinite, or even Brahma and Narayana cannot claim, but Mahadeva can do that. Mahadeva is all pervasive. So to explain his all pervasiveness, Vibhu, Arupam, Avyaktam, Anantam are said. But people who look at that externally will say everything is nameless and formless. Mithya, everything is Mithya. But Satya, everything is eternal. Everything is true actually. So Mahadeva is Saguna Brahmam. His form is also described to be meditated within the Jyoti. And the great example is the story of Vishnu. I hope people would have seen that video where Vishnu eats the sacred ash and bathes with the sacred ash. Initially, he gets the Panchakshara Diksha from Lord Shiva. And then he meditates within his heart. What does he see? He sees a Jyoti. Just a Jyoti. And then here the point to be noted. Mahadeva replies to Vishnu saying that, oh Vishnu, your knowledge is incomplete. This is a very important point to be noted. Mahadeva himself says that, meditation on his form alone is the supreme. Now we'll come to that. Now you will say, oh Vishnu, your knowledge is incomplete. So you, tato basma bhakshayeti harimaha harastataha bhakshayishye shivam basma snatvaham basmanapura. eat the sacred ash and bathe with the sacred ash, and then you will get Purna Jnanam. Because you have seen only a Jyoti. But who is the personality behind the Jyoti? And then he does that. Vishnu bathes with the sacred ash, eats the sacred ash, and then he meditates in his heart. And then Shiva requests Vishnu to meditate in his heart. And this is present, by the way, in the Padma Purana Patala Kanda 105th chapter. Chapter name is Importance of Sacred Ash. And this is told by Dadichi Maharshi himself. And also it is present in the Brihajabala Upanishad 6th Brahmana for people who want to refer. And then Vishnu, and then Vishnu meditates, and then we saw that verse just 20 minutes back. Shuddha Spatika Sankasham, Trinetram Dvibhujam Shivam, Varadam Dakshino Haste, Vamecha Abhayadam Vibhum, Panchavarshiyava Pusham, Sharat Chandra Yutaditam. And then it goes on to describe the features of Mahadeva. How is he with ornaments all over his body and beautiful with a serene smiling face, 5-year-old person within his heart. And then Hariraha Puradrishtaha Purushaha Shanta Vigraha Ityudirya Mahavishnu Shiva Pade Papatata. Now Hari, after meditating on Lord Shiva within his heart, and then he opens his eyes and then he sees Lord Shiva in front of him. Oh, that Mahadeva who initiated me, who gave me Diksha, is the personality residing in my heart. And then he falls at the feet of Mahadeva. Shiva Pade Papatata. And then Nashakyam Basmano Jane. Prabhavam va kutastava namastestu tvameva sharanam gataha. This is the glory of sacred ash which leads you to Shiva Jnanam. So I cannot even understand the glory of the sacred ash. How can I ever understand your glories? When can I understand your glories? So I surrender. Namastestu tvameva sharanam gataha. Though the important point to be noted is that Vishnu meditates on Jyoti first, and then Shiva himself says that your knowledge is incomplete. And then he meditates on Lord Shiva, who is the Karanam of the Jyoti, who is that personality who is infinite. And then he attains Purna Jnanam. And that's where here also, within the golden red flame, Nataraja, the divine form of Nataraja, should be meditated. Adityam Bimbam Adhyastam Raktamurtim Sadashivam. Within the middle of the sun, one should meditate on Parameshwara, Parashakti Mata and Paramashiva. Parashara Upapuranam, first chapter, first verse itself says, Saura Mandala Madhyastam Sambam Samsara Beshajam Nila Grivam Virupaksham Namami Shivam Abhyajam. Within the mandala of the Surya, one should meditate on Mata Parashakti and Paramashiva. Sambam, Shiva plus Amba is Samba. Samsara Beshajam, one who relieves you from all the, one who relieves you from the repeated cycles of birth and death. Who is the ultimate, of all, and who is the only giver of moksha. That's why the Atharvashika Upanishad says, Shambhurakasha Madhye Shiva Ekodgyeyaha. Just meditate on him. Nilagrivam. See, it highlights the features again. Nilagriva means the blue-necked Lord, which comes 6 times in Rudram. Virupaksham, 3-eyed personality. Namami Shivam Avyayam. To that Mahadeva, who is Avyaya, who is imperishable, I offer my humble prostrations. Parashara Maharshi says that. So within that flame, within that Jyoti, one should meditate on the divine form of Mahadeva. His attributes are beautifully described in the Vedas. So, and then that's about, the Arudra. And also Arudra is also, during that Arudra star, Mahadeva is said to have appeared as an Agnistamba. So that episode is also there. 2 episodes, because Shiva Mahapurana Vidyeshwara Samhita 10th chapter 33rd verse says, when Brahma and Vishnu's Ahankara are quelled by Mahadeva, Mahadeva gives his knowledge, the knowledge to attain him. And he says in the 33rd verse of the 10th chapter, Jnanam cha sustiram bhagyam sarvam bhavati shashvatam ardrayam cha chaturdashyam tajapyam tvakshayam bhavet koti gunam bhavet. No, one should meditate, one should actually worship me during Chaturdashi, the 14th day of every month. There are like 2 Chaturdashis that appear every month. So like totally 24 Chaturdashis, the 14th day. And then Ardra Nakshatram, because that's when, Mahadeva appeared as an Agnistamba and then quelled. And of course, he performed his Tandava dance also on that day. And also he appeared as an Agnistamba on the day of Ardra star and then quelled the Ahankara of Brahma and Vishnu. So one should worship me during those days. And what happens to the result of the worship? When you chant Namah Shivaya During a normal day, okay, fine, you get the credits for that, you get the fruits for that. But, Ardra Nakshatram, when you chant that, or Chaturdashi, when you do that, the fruits are multiplied and manifold. It's like million times benefits you get. Mahadeva himself says that. Koti Gunam Bhave, 34th verse of the 10th chapter, Vidyeshwara Samhita. So that's how the Arudra, the day is celebrated. One should completely dedicate for Mahadeva, just like Trayodashi and just like Chaturdashi. Even Ekadashi is for Lord Shiva only. Ekadashi, the Mahadeva drank the hala poison. But the most known days are Mahashivaratri, Masa Shivaratri, Trayodashi and Chaturdashi. And apart from that, this Arudra Darshanam, this day. And even the Nakshatra Suktam in the Vedas, Krishna Yajur Vedam, it describes every nakshatram. Every nakshatra has a mantra. Punarvasu, Kritika, Ardra, etc. 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 And for Ardra Nakshatram, it talks about Lord Shiva being the Lord. Ardraya Rudra Pratama Naeti. Pratama. Where does it come in Rudram? Agriyaya cha Prathamaya cha. He is the first of all. Now, there is nothing that is before him. He alone is Purvam to everybody. And then it goes on. Shreshto Devanam Patiragniyanam. Shreshto Devanam. Nakshatra Suktam for Ardhana Nakshatram. Shreshto. Vamadeva Mantram says, Vamadeva Yanamo Jeshta Yanamak Shreshta Yanamo. Jeshta means the oldest of all. We saw how Krishna explained to Radha that Mahadeva is ageless. Naham janami ka shrutihi. The Shruti, the Vedas do not understand his, do not know his age. Even I, Naham janami, I also do not know his age. Oh dear Radha. Because Mahadeva is ageless. He is not bound by age. 4 inhalings of Maheshwara is the entire lifespan of Vishnu. Chatur Nishvasa Matrena Vishnor Ayur Udahritam. 108th chapter, Padma Purana, Patalakanda, 70th verse. So that's where this, Ardhana Nakshatram has a stuti as a part of the Nakshatra Suktam in the Krishna Yajur Vedam, in the Vedas. Shreshto Devanam, he is the best of all and the greatest of all. And no other deity is, aligned with Ardhana Nakshatram. Nakshatram, because the Vedas talk about Mahadeva as actually that Adipati of that Ardhana Nakshatram. And everybody has a nakshatram, right? Whenever everybody is born. So when we say Mahadeva, Ardhana Nakshatram is favorite, it doesn't mean that Mahadeva was born during that Ardhana Nakshatram. Because we need to understand that he appeared. There is no birth for Mahadeva. Ajayamano Bahuda Vijayate. Bhagavan Ajaha, Vyasa Maharshi also says. The Vedas also say Ajayamano Purusha Suktam. So he is birthless, but he appeared on that day to show his divine cosmic dance to the sages and Brahma and Vishnu and to Patanjali, Vyagrapada, Vyasa Maharshi, Jaimini Maharshi, etc. etc. And also he appeared as an Agni Stamba to crush the ego of Brahma and Vishnu. So that's why Ardhana Nakshatram is the favorite of Lord Shiva. And also this, as I said, the mantras in the Vedam also attributes those, as identifying Mahadeva as that Adipati of that Ardhra Nakshatram. And then, moving on, we have seen Patanjali had the divine cosmic, saw the divine cosmic dance. Adisesha's avatara, Patanjali, saw the divine cosmic dance of Lord Shiva along with Vyagrapada. Apart from that, there is another person called Jaimini Maharshi, who is a great personality, whose presence is also told in the Brahma Sutras. Jaimini Maharshi is not an ordinary Maharshi. So, he has written a stuti, which comes in the Narada Puranam, Uttarabhagam, 73rd chapter. So, he says, Chidambaram iti bruyat sakrit janana varjitaha mukti ganta manipatham mokshameva samashnute. Anyone who utters the word Chidambaram, and who has the divine vision of Nataraja in Chidambaram, has set out his way to liberation. Mukti is guaranteed for that person. Kashyam tu marana muktim. If a person dies in Kashi, he goes back to Parakailasha. mukti is registered. And then if someone is born in Tiruvarur, because Tiruvarur, Tyagaraja is dancing there. Nataraja in Chidambaram, Tyagaraja in Tiruvarur. That is also a special place, Tiruvarur, Tyagaraja. So if someone is born in Tyagaraja, if someone is born in Tiruvarur, where Tyagaraja is present, he gets liberation. And then if someone has the vision of Chidambaram Nataraja, and chants Chidambaram through his mouth, has set his or her way to liberation. And Kanchi, if someone lives in Kanchi Ekambaranatha, right? Kanchi Kamakshi Sameta Ekambaranatha Yanamaha. So if someone lives in Kanchi, then liberation is guaranteed. If someone does the smaranam of Arunachaleshwara, oh Arunachaleshwara, Aruna. The word Aruna also comes 2 times in Rudram. Asavyastamro Aruna Asavyastamro Aruna Utababrusu Mangalaha Namasomaya cha Rudraya cha Namastamraya cha Arunaya cha. So when we say that together, it goes like, usually people who chant Rudram, when we say that together, Stamraya cha Runaya cha, it becomes Charunaya cha. But when you split it, you understand the meaning. Stamraya cha Arunaya cha. That's what is said as Stamraya cha Arunaya cha. Usually when you split it, you will understand the meaning. So Aruna comes 2 times. Arunachaleshwara, when one does smaranam, when one just thinks of Arunachaleshwara, mukti is guaranteed. And also, speaking of Govindaraja meditating on Chidambaram Nataraja, it is also connected to the Tyagaraja. Since I mentioned about Tyagaraja, in Tiruvarur, it is described, the temple of Tyagaraja is actually the entire body of Vishnu. The body of Vishnu is Tiruvarur temple. And the place where Tyagaraja is dancing, he is usually covered. He is not open. His face alone, Tyagaraja face alone is shown. And the face, the place where actually Tyagaraja is dancing, that is described as Vishnu Hridayam, the heart of Vishnu. So which signifies everywhere you see in the Puranas and also in the Kshetra Mahatmyam, Chidambara Kshetram or Tiruvarur Kshetram, Narayana Suktam in the Vedas, Narayana meditates on the divine Maheshwara. Just like he meditates on Maheshwara and then he explains to Lakshmi about the divine Panchamukha Parameshwara form to Lakshmi, and then explains that form alone is eternal, I am temporary, and that form is actually the form of Bhagavad Gita. Here he explains to Adisesha about Chidambaram Nataraja. Parama Pashupata, Parama Bhagavata is our dear Vishnu. And Tiruvarur temple also, it's actually the body of Vishnu. The place where Tyagaraja is dancing is actually the heart of Vishnu. So which means he is eternally meditating on Maheshwara. So I just, that's about it. And there is, speaking of Jaimini Maharshi, I want to touch upon some of the verses where he has glorified, where he also had the intense desire to have the vision of Lord Shiva, which is present in the Narada Puranam, Uttarabhagam itself. Narada Puranam, Uttarabhagam, 73rd chapter. We'll be visiting some verses, in that chapter, which also talks about Lord Shiva at the request of Jaimini Maharshi showing the cosmic dance. Because some people might say, okay, this is Sthala Puranam only. And Sthala Puranams are also equally important. But, there is an interesting place that I found where actually Mahadeva shows his cosmic dance to Jaimini Maharshi, which is present in the Narada Puranam, Uttarabhagam, 73rd chapter. So we'll be looking at some of the verses about, in that chapter tomorrow, how Jaimini Maharshi is, very intensely desires to have that vision of Lord Shiva and see the cosmic dance of Lord Shiva, and finally he attains the Samipya Mukti or Sarupya Mukti. He goes back to Parakailasha and he attains the form of Lord Shiva and he engages in eternal service to Maheshwara and Mata Parashakti. That is also told, what Mukti he gets. Upamanyu Maharshi also gets that Mukti, finally, Samipya Mukti. So those kind of things are explained. So we'll be visiting some of the verses, which is quite interesting, and then we'll be looking at some of the verses in the Bhagavad Gita and trying to understand how it glorifies Lord Shiva. So with that said, I'll close for today, and I'll chant the Kshama Prarthana mantra and then we can take up some questions. It has been an hour almost. ओं यदक्षरपदपृष्ठं मात्राहीनं तु यद्भवेत् तत्सर्वं क्षम्यतां देव परमेश्वर नमोऽस्तु ते विसर्गबिन्दुमात्राणि पदपादाक्षराणि च न्यूनानि चातिरिक्तानि क्षमस्व परमेश्वर अपराधसहस्राणि क्रियन्ते हर्निशं मया दासोऽयमिति मां मत्वा क्षमस्व परमेश्वर अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष परमेश्वरी अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष परमेश्वर एतत् सर्वं श्री उमामहेश्वर परब्रह्मार्पणमस्तु ललिताम्बिके साम्बशिवार्पणमस्तु श्रीमति गौरी समेत साम्बशिवार्पणमस्तु श्रीमति गायत्री समेत साम्बशिवार्पणमस्तु करचरणकृतं वाक्कायचं कर्मचम्पा श्रवणनयनचम्पा मानसम्पापराधं विहितम् अविहितं वा सर्वम् एतत् क्षमस्व जय जय करुणाब्दे श्रीमहादेव शम्भो माता च पार्वतीदेवी पिता देवो महेश्वर बन्धवा शिवभक्तांश्च स्वदेशो भुवनत्रयं साम्बशिवाय नमः साम्बशिवाय नमः साम्बशिवाय नमः हर ओं तत्सत्।